Diana. Good? Good. Okay, good. I will call this May 26, 2020 meeting of Lawrence County Commissioners to order. Will all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a brief moment of silence. Jeff, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a brief moment of silence. Thank you. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel? Here. Commissioner Vogler?
Here.
Commissioner Boyd?
Here. We have a quorum. Just so the audience knows, we are being recorded, both in terms of our live stream, which is being sent out via YouTube, and internally for our own purposes when taking the minutes. Anyone wishing to comment publicly during this meeting can just submit an email to mboyd@co.lawrence.pa.us, and we'll enter it into the record. It's mboyd@co.lawrence.pa.us. Borough officer reports and comments. We have nothing. Public comments. We do have a comment from Carrie Hahn, which will be entered into the record. Thank you, Carrie. And fiscal and contractual. We have a warrant registered for approval from May 25. I'll give my colleagues a minute to look that over and take a motion to accept and file the register.
And I did review it earlier, so I will make that motion.
Second.
Hearing a motion in a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, questions on the motion. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Approval of Tuesday, May 19th, 2020 meeting minutes. Again, I'll give my colleagues a minute to look over those, and I'll take a motion.
So moved.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, questions on the motion. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. We have one written communication, a GP11 general operating permit for the portable facility located at Americold Aggregates Inc., Welsh Quarry Site, 1508 Jockey Moore Road in Elwood City, Wayne Township. Letter reads, to whom it may concern, in accordance with Pennsylvania Code, we're providing Lawrence County with notification we've requested approval from the Department of Environmental Protection for a GP11 general operating permit for the portable facility located at Americold Aggregates, which is located at the address that I already gave. And if you want additional information, don't hesitate to contact the provided phone number, and questions or comments can be directed to PADEP Region 6 Northwest Regional Office. From Sharon Evelyn, Environmental Manager at the Mellett Company. I'll note these are just routine notifications that we receive as per state law. We have no say-so in whether or not something goes through. That's the jurisdiction of the state. We do have the ability to provide comments to the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection, which they could take under consideration, but ultimately authority for approval or non-approval rests with the state. So I'll take a motion to accept and file correspondence.
So moved.
Second.
Hearing a motion second, is there any discussion? Hearing none, questions on the motion, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same sign, motion carries. No proclamations or certificates today, no staff reports, commissioner reports and comments. Looks like I'm first on the deck today. The thing I'll note is that we're moving into the green phase. The governor's plan to reopen Pennsylvania on this Friday. What that means is that you're going to be able to see restaurants open back up at 50% capacity. You're going to be able to see barber shops and salons open back up at 50% capacity. You're going to see expanded gathering thresholds, so it'll move from 25 to a number that we're not certain of yet. And we're waiting to hear more information from the governor's office on what exactly Move the Green entails. I will say that, and I've said this before, Now is not the time to go wild. We're still in phases. The coronavirus is still out there. It's important that we remain vigilant, that we remain cautious, and pay extra close attention to our hygiene, to the individuals that surround us, and that we stay safe so we're able to move out of these phases. We're still working on the courthouse plan. Actually did a little bit of that this morning. That'll probably be out by Wednesday, exactly how we're gonna run operations. Actually, not Wednesday. I think it's a Monday because of the Memorial Day. It'll probably be out by Thursday. Just how we're gonna run operations moving forward. I will say that our employees are all coming back, the ones that we have laid off, on June 1st. Date still uncertain when we will allow public access to return to the building. So that's what I have for today. Commissioner Vogler, you're on deck next.
Thank you. I have no comments this morning.
Oh, I thought you were deep in thought that you were putting your thoughts together. Okay, great.
And Commissioner Spielberg.
I just have a compliment. A note was brought to me this morning that we had a veteran contact our veterans office via email, via mail, through a phone conversation. And he just wanted to compliment, I guess it was Jessie that he spoke to, that she was very helpful, that the office has been very helpful, even though he is homebound, can't get out of the house. But he was able to get information sent to him through email and also over the phone, some clarifications. He just wanted to make sure that somebody knew that this person was very helpful. And I thought it was definitely worth mentioning that even though the office is closed, even though the building is closed, there are different ways to get in touch with the different offices that you have to, and that we are still operational. So I wanted to just mention that through the Veterans Office. Thank you, Jessie and staff, for continuing operations there.
And they do phenomenal work.
They do.
We'll move on to the new business section of the agenda. We have Jeff Parrish with Public Safety here for 3 separate resolutions. First being a resolution for discussion of possible approval to adjust the existing fiscal year 2020 budget to account for additional revenue from the pre-disaster mitigation grant. Jeff, what do we have going on?
Fixing my screw up from the budget whenever I did beginning or the end of
You don't have
last
to tell
year.
anybody that, nobody knew.
I don't care. You know what? It is what it is. I made the mistake because everything with our grants are all sort of hazmat starting, and one led into another one. We have a regular hazard mitigation or hazmat mitigation grant that we received last year that we're working on now for our hazard mitigation plan. That money inadvertently got put in our hazmat assessment account that we have. The hazmat assessment account is the money that we receive from the Sarah facility sites or LEPC. That's where the money went into, and it just sort of, whenever we got the first bill for our consultant, I realized that we put it in the wrong HM. They all started off with HM.
Right.
So we needed to switch that around just to keep our hazmat assessment revenue that we get from the reporting facilities has been coming in. So that account's been growing back where it should. Actually, it's going to be more than what we thought we would get this year because we're using a different accounting software and sending the bills out and tracking them a lot more and getting on them. So we'll actually have a little bit more revenue in that one too. So that's just to clear those 2 accounts up so we can pay our bill that I've had sitting there for a month or 2. And they were well aware of it. They're not pushing for it. They just want to get that one cleared up.
Mm-hmm. That's easy enough.
Absolutely.
We'll make that, unless there's any objections, we'll make that resolution 2020-088.
088.
All right, your next is resolution for discussion of possible approval to adjust the existing FY 2020 budget to account for additional revenue from our dog team.
Yeah, we'd never had an account set up for the K-9 search and rescue team that we adopted thanks to everyone's approval last year. So we were trying to get some more funding. With the controller's office trying to figure out where to put the money in last year, some of the funds that we received, it's all donations. And we also got funding from the DA's office last year, a little bit of money to put in there to get them up and going. And we put it in what we had, it used to be it was a line item that was a Penn Power grant that we received years ago that was still in the book. So we just went to put it in there. And again, we did not transfer the money over, realizing how much was left in that at the end of 2019 to 2020. So we needed to switch that account name so we know that we're not using a Penn Power grant anymore, but we're making our K-9 K-9 search and rescue grant line item.
Mhm.
That, and then we also received some more money this year on some of their sales that they're selling t-shirts. So if anybody wants a t-shirt, they're nice t-shirt, they have sitting up at our place. But there's different things like that they're raising money. We use a little bit of our funds whenever we have it to try to buy stuff, different things like that for them. But they're pretty much self-sustaining using donations and everything. So we wanted to make sure that we had a secure place for it to go in so we could track a lot more instead of just putting it in a general fund. And so that we can follow it from year to year and just carry it over. What happened was that money didn't get carried over from last year into this year. And then we added some more in. And again, I met with Dave last Thursday or Friday and went over some more of this stuff. So that we're going to change that account and then we have a couple more, we increased the revenue on it because it's first of the year. And we didn't account for a little bit. I don't want to come every month and say we're adding another 1,500, another 2,000. So, hopefully we'll get several more thousand this year to put in to help them. So we have a little safety campaign and project that we're going to kick off with them that we realized whenever we utilized them the other couple weeks ago, beginning of the year or beginning of the month for the drowning, the search, that they don't have any PFDs for them or the dogs or hard hat or regular search and rescue helmets. So we're looking to try to get some funding for that so we can make sure they're well protected too.
Mhm.
That's what that one is for.
And the simple thing for this account is, if we don't get the revenue in, we won't.
Yeah, that's just it. Yeah, and we know that. I mean, we meet with them regularly and give them the updates, and it's just as the money comes in, we buy the stuff appropriately for them wherever we can. So
And this is blocking?
no,
No.
Bounty had the sheriff's
No,
department.
this is a search and rescue.
This is all of our cadaver dogs, our search and rescue dogs.
Okay. Simple enough. Any questions from my colleagues? All right, we'll make that, unless there's any objection, resolution 2020-089. Then last on the slate for you, Jeff, we have a resolution for discussion and possible approval for an agreement with Pennsylvania Emergency Management Agency, County of Lawrence and Jameson Hospital for providing medical services for contaminated, injured individuals in the event of an accident at the Beaver Valley Power Station.
Yes, what this is for is what we designate as an MS1 hospital, which is a medical service one. That's actually the the Nuclear Regulatory Commission designates hospitals that are in the areas, give them that designation that they can take care of contaminated patients from a nuclear power plant or its immediate area.
Okay.
Elwood City Hospital used to be it for many, many years, ever since we started doing this. Since unfortunately they were closed up, we've tried, we reached out to UPMC, and even though Pittsburgh is close, they don't want, Pittsburgh is actually too close to have that. There's two in our western area. Washington County Hospital, Washington Hospital is the only other MS1 in the western side of the state. So UPMC graciously said that they would help us and would do it. And we're going through the training and the paperwork. All this is just an agreement.
So if this thing blows, Pittsburgh's in the radius.
Oh, yeah.
No kidding.
Oh, yeah.
That's a fun thought.
Yeah, within the 10 mile, the first area is a 10-mile radius.
Mm-hmm.
So then the rest of it is, we're considered a reception county, a reception center.
So when the guys from Beaver are running away, they're coming up here.
Yes, yeah, they're coming here to Mohawk High School where we have the reception center and the Red Cross sets up the hospitality and to track them all. But that's why with that area, any contaminated patients, even coming from Beaver Valley would go to either hospital. They don't want to try to, like I said, Pittsburgh's right within that area too. So they want to go north and south, and they even go into Ohio, but we don't. I mean, that's a totally different regulatory out there.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And there's no cost associated with this?
No, all this stuff is, again, we discussed some of the radiological funding that we had. That's where those grants come from also, is from Beaver Valley. But there's no funding, whatever money is with this, I mean, UPMC and them, they take it upon themselves to fund it. It's just actually through their nuclear departments and that's how Elwood City did it. We provide them with equipment, if need be, through Beaver Valley or through Penal whenever equipment comes in, which we have a couple things that we'll be giving them too that we took back out of Elwood City, that needs to go up to UPMC, so.
Okay. Any questions from?
No.
In that case, unless there's any objection, we'll make that resolution 2020-09 now. You're welcome to stick around if you want to stick around, or if you gotta get back up to LEOC, we understand.
Yeah, I'm gonna get back up and see what's going on with our air conditioning, so.
Is the air conditioning actually out up there?
The 917, yes. Happens every year.
Okay.
We're waiting on a part. It always happens on a Friday.
And when it's
So,
90 degrees out.
Exactly.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you.
We'll be in good shape, I think.
As always, thank you,
Take care.
Travis.
We'll see you.
All right. Up next, we have JL resolution discussion of possible approval for a 3-year grant, October 1st, 2020 through September 30th, 2023, through DOJ to fund the already established medicated assisted treatment programs. Who wants to talk about that?
I will. My name is Andrea Anderson, from Lawrence County Corrections, and what we are looking at is this is a grant through the Bureau of Justice, and it is a 3-year grant. It will fund the existing positions. Also, there is money that is set aside for Sheriff's Department in case we have pregnant females or something that happened with someone that they need transport. So that was also put in there. There are no new existing positions that are in the grant. Doing the budget was for transportation out of the Sheriff's Department to caseworkers and also health insurance for the 2 caseworkers, and possibility for overtime and the medication of the Suboxone and the buprenorphine and the Vivitrol.
Is that everything? Okay. A couple things for you. When was this grant due?
Friday.
Okay, we submitted it Friday. What time was it submitted?
Or no, it was Thursday, I do believe. 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock on Thursday. Okay.
This was
First,
at midnight.
okay, the first time the commissioners heard about it was at the Wednesday prison board meeting the day before that,
Correct.
right? Moving forward, I mean, it opened up on, I think, March 23rd, correct?
Correct.
So in terms of a timeline, we had absolutely no time to review it before you guys submitted the grant, correct?
Correct.
In the future, you gotta do better than that.
I understand.
So, now that being said, because we haven't had a chance to review it, I know I'd like to table this until next week. We'd like to have a meeting, between you, Andrea, the warden, whoever else over at the jail is pertinent to sort of go over all of the grants that we have there and the finance structure behind them.
Okay.
Just because I know, just briefly from what you did give me, I'm not able to comprehensively understand it in less than 24 hours, even coming in on Memorial Day. And so before I vote on something, I'd like to understand what we have going on and all the processes in place there.
Okay.
Is that agreeable?
I think that's best, yeah.
Okay. In that case, I'll take
So I'm going to have to pull the submission. Is that correct?
I would say in this scenario, I would keep the submission in place and then we'll go over it and then we'll vote on it next week.
We don't have a meeting next week.
That's great. So we'll vote on it 2 weeks from now and go from there.
Okay. And going forward with this, I guess I've written many grants before. I understand with new commissioners, the process is a little bit different. So maybe that's something too, if you could let us know how the process goes. Because in all the years that I've written grants, I've never had a commissioner go over the grants that request to have it. So that's why I brought it over to you on Friday when you had requested it, understanding, yes, there was short amount of time. However, with COVID in place too, it was also hard. I did reach out to Commissioner Spielvogel a couple of times to talk about things and to make the grants available. She was aware that we were applying for this grant, and I did get approval for her, from her,
Okay,
to file that grant, and that was back in March.
okay. Well, keep in mind,
It was just the application for it that you were filing something, you had a grant application and you were working on it. That was just
And
a
I asked
general
if it was okay
conversation,
to
sure.
file that, and I
Right.
can forward that email to you too.
no, I believe
Yeah.
you. Keep in mind in the future, there are 3 commissioners and you need 2 votes.
For sure.
So, but that being said, we'll table this today. You guys can schedule a meeting with Vanessa, to come into my office. We can comprehensively go over everything and then we'll go from there. So I'll take a motion to table, we'll make that resolution 2020-091.
Do you want to table it after we've amended the agenda to do so?
That's a good point, yeah, just to make sure we're sticking with the proper procedure. Last thing we have today is transfer of funds. Resolution for discussion and possible approval for transfer for the central services maintenance and repair Central Services Staples to Retirement Benefits Cobra in the amount of $8,583. And Karen, we touched on this, I think, last week or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Just go back over, what do we have going on there?
We have an empty account that for our Cobra people that have left, retired or whatever, Cobra is offered to them by our third-party carrier.
Mhm.
They get the money from the employee and then they send us a check. And the account is, as a matter of fact, I just got an email from Sarah
Mhm.
because they're getting ready to send out another check and it's $45 short
Okay.
for that check. So we really need to, I gave you the amount for the rest of the year, so we shouldn't have to do this again.
Mhm.
And then I guess we were gonna talk to see exactly where the money, what account the money was supposed to be going into when we get these checks.
Mhm.
We're finding that out.
Yeah, and we're still working on that.
Okay,
But yeah, so this is basically just a pass-through, right? The employee that's on Cobra
right.
pays us, we pay the insurance company, they're insured, it's just dollar for dollar.
It's just a round circle.
Yep.
That's all it is.
And that's in the amount of $8,583.
Yes.
So that shouldn't be an issue. We'll make that resolution 2020-092, unless my colleagues have any objections.
No.
All right, I will take a motion to amend the agenda to allow for voting on resolutions 2020-088 through 2020-092.
So moved.
Second.
Hearing a motion and a second, is there any discussion? Hearing none, questions on the motion, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same sign, motion carries. Both of these as expediently as possible. Resolution 2020-088, now therefore be resolved by Lawrence County Board of Commissioners to amend the 2020 Lawrence County budget as follows: increasing the general fund revenue account pre-disaster mitigation grant by $44,000, increasing the general fund expenditure account pre-disaster mitigation grant by $44,000, decreasing the general fund revenue account hazmat assessment revenue by $32,240, decreasing the general fund expense account hazmat assessment revenue by $32,240, increasing the general fund revenue account universal 911 surcharge by $243,821, increasing the general fund expense account office minor by $23,349, and increasing the general fund expense account equipment maintenance by $220,472. So I'll take a motion to approve that.
So moved.
Second, hearing a motion and a second. Any discussion? Questions on the motion? Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Resolution 2020-089, now therefore be resolved by Lawrence County Board of Commissioners to amend the 2020 Lawrence County budget as follows: increasing the EM management grant revenue account prior year cash balance by $3,028, increasing the EM management grant revenue account canine revenues by $4,500, and increasing the EM management grants expense account canine expenses by $7,528. I'll take a motion to approve that.
So moved.
Second. Hearing a motion and a second, is there any discussion? Hearing none, questions on the motion, Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Resolution 2020-090, now therefore be resolved by Lawrence County Board of Commissioners, Lawrence County adopts, accept, concur with the supporting provisions of this agreement being the agreement with Jameson Hospital to provide medical services for contaminated injured individuals in the event of an accident at Beaver Valley Power Station. I'll take a motion to accept that.
So moved.
Second. Hearing a motion is second. Any discussion? Hearing none, questions on the motion, Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Resolution 2020-091. There's no, I don't know if there's any whereas statement on it, but this is relating to the Medicated Assisted Treatment Program grant. I'll take a motion to table that until the next commissioners meeting.
So moved.
Second, with a comment, if I may. I do appreciate that we want to have some further talk about it, but I also commend you for all that you've been doing and appreciate you getting the grant
Thank you.
submitted on a timely manner as well. So
Thank you.
But I appreciate the need to table this particular document at this time. Thank you.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. And resolution 2020-092, now therefore be resolved by Lawrence County Board of Commissioners that authorization is hereby given to appropriate administrative officials to transfer a total of $8,583 described in detail on the attachment designated as T-2020-003. I'll take a motion to approve that.
So moved.
Second. Hearing a motion and a second, is there any discussion? Hearing none, questions on the motion, Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, they have insurance. We have no
Yes.
ordinances on the table, a couple of different announcements. There will be an election board meeting today immediately following this meeting. We'll probably take a 5-10 minute recess. Ed, right now, our director of voter services, is doing a training over in the church building with all the different poll workers. So that's assuming he's also wrapped up with that, but as soon as he's wrapped up, we'll have an election board meeting. There will not be a commissioners meeting on Tuesday, June 2nd, as it being election day. Instead, that meeting, that date will be opened up entirely for the Board of Elections in the event that anyone has to lodge a complaint or any other
Right.
procedural action that our Board of Elections needs to take. And the next regular commissioners meeting is scheduled for 10 a.m. on Tuesday, June 9th, 2020 in this room. That's all we have there in terms of announcements. Am I missing anything? That covers it. Refresh this, see if we have any public comment. No additional public comment. So with that being said, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. Hearing a motion and a second, is there any discussion? Hearing none. Questions on the motion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Lawrence County Board of Commissioners is adjourned. Thank you guys for coming. We'll talk. Schedule a meeting to talk.
See you a second. No. What, about 5 or 10 minutes before we, whatever it is.
Carry.
Whatever you're done.
Okay.
Do you have a minute? I have families. Yes. Get
Second, we
that,
got
yes.
turn the live stream off.
My turn to me. I bought
Oh, yeah.
Fanta